Okay, well, I think that's it. Oh, and yay, I did it. Okay. So we are live, I think. I hope. um, and I haven't been live for a minute, so this should be interesting. Okay. For those of you that are new, I am author Kay McCoy, and I am teaching Hillmantok University. This is my first semester, so I'm trying to get my lives in order, and um, we're about to go live on the Clock app as well. So in the event that something happens, if you are on the Clock app, you can check us on YouTube. So yeah, I got a minute, so we'll see if my phone cooperates, and we'll see if I can go live. So it should be interesting. And then that way, before I do like the whole introduction, I'll do it once for everybody. But yeah, we're supposed to be live. I was supposed to go live at 6. So I'm supposed to start now. So technically, I'm a little late. Creative writing. Actually, here, I'm just going to shorten it. HTU, creative writing class live. And I know I'm supposed to do like descriptions and all that fun stuff. I haven't figured that out yet. And I just finished work. So we're going to see if that works. Add a topic. Learn? Yeah, learn sounds good. Sounds good. Um, Let me flip my screen so that way you don't see my room. And oh yeah, on the Clock app you can add goals and stuff for those of you that don't know. I had no idea. Um, Help me achieve my first goal. I will not be singing a song. We are not doing that. And I'll, mm, yeah, share my first goal. I don't want to put in requests just yet. We're still figuring this stuff out. So there. All right. So I believe I am now live. Oh, okay. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna hit the button on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I think everybody is accounted for, and yeah, we're going. It's happening. Whether I'm ready or not, it's happening. Okay. So I am also live on YouTube. So everybody on the Clock app, if I appear to be looking off the screen, I promise you I am not. I just want to make sure that I had all the resources that I need to kick this off. So I am very much excited that I did this, and honestly, I'm almost on time. 2 minutes. 2 minutes is not so bad. So okay, now that I am here on both platforms, let's give this a go. And hello again, everyone. Hello, Panther Nation. How's everyone doing? Again, I am author Kay McCoy, and I will be your instructor for this summer semester. And here we're going to break down all things creative writing, storytelling, mainly focusing on craft because the class is titled um, Inspiring Storytelling for Aspiring Authors. So, again, you don't have to be an aspiring author. You don't have to be an indie author. You don't have to be an author in any capacity. You could be someone with one story, or you can be a creator who's looking to be a little bit more flexible, adaptable, creative with your pen, whichever works for you. So let me grab my water because I have a feeling I'm going to do a lot of talking today. And I just finished work, which requires me to also do a lot of talking. But having said that, um, if you haven't already, please be sure to check out my YouTube channel. Um, I've already posted for the first week there, and your homework assignment is there. So, again, if you want to simply partake in the lives, that's totally fine. Be sure to either talk to me over on YouTube or again on the Clock app. So Oh, hello, Chan. Thank you for joining. Mm. And like I said, I'm so sorry. I think I got a frog in my throat. So, yeah, I just finished working and I changed shirts really quick because I didn't want to be too dressed up for the occasion. But yeah, so I made it on time. Yay. Um, Again, I am teaching about creative writing, storytelling, what that looks like for me as an author will vary for all of you, which it should be because that's where the best stories are created. So I'm really excited to talk about all things storytelling. And if you are a new author, there's a lot of vocabulary that I may sometimes use. And if that's the case, please let me know. I'll be happy to explain. But for those of you that are not auditing the class and you have enrolled, you should see the syllabus now so you'll know what we're talking about for every single week. So, oh, hey Teflon, how you doing? All right, so again, I'm going to briefly go over the syllabus, not in its entirety, but just to let you know what to expect over the next 8 weeks, because obviously that is important to know. All right. And I see a few people are here on YouTube as well. Hello, hello, hello. I wasn't sure if anyone would come on YouTube, but I wanted to make sure I had backup. So thank you again for following me. And I feel like I'm very close. So let me, okay, cool. I don't want to move it too much and it falls. But yeah, you can see if you're on YouTube, you can see my phone is here. I got my ring light there. And yeah, it's a very tight space. So I want to make sure I keep everything in one place. Mhm. Now, as I was saying, tonight I will just basically be introducing myself, getting to know all of you, and going over the syllabus briefly. Again, I'm not going to go over the full syllabus, just about what we're going to talk about for each week, and maybe touch on a little bit as to why and what to expect from the class overall. Simply put, this is a creative elective course. Again, this is available on Hillmantok University, which is a free 99, quote unquote, uncredited university. So obviously, you're not paying for anything. The one thing you can do to show your support to your instructor or your professors is to make sure to follow them on whichever social medias that they request. For me, that is the Clock app and YouTube. So if you are not subscribed to me on YouTube just yet, please go ahead and do so. Again, that is also free 99. And if you're not following me on the Clock app, you can go ahead and do that as well. Hey Kiki, what's good? Okay, got a few people in here. That is nice. All right. So for today, like I said, we'll go ahead and do a brief introduction. This class, if you're looking for it online, you want to go to thehillmantalk.com and you can enroll there. Classes are still open. I am I'm capping the class at about 20-25 students. That's most comfortable, and I feel that would be a good collective bunch. But again, if you don't want to enroll, that's totally fine. Feel free to join the lives. You can check out the brief summaries. I've created a YouTube playlist, so I'll be taking bits of today's lesson and compiling that into one video for the week. And also, I'll be leaving you with some thoughts, some words of advice, things like that, starting next week. So let's see, do we have more comments? Okay, cool. Now, again, today we're talking briefly about the summary, not summary, but the course, the syllabus. So I'm going to go ahead and review the schedule again. We meet on Wednesdays for class from 6 p.m. to 7, and we will have office hour that is every Friday, same time, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., and that is Eastern Standard Time. So write that down if you need to. Oh, hey, Jazz. Is it Jazz? Yeah. Thank you for joining, Jazz and Erica. Okay. So you'll be able to meet me same time each week, Wednesday, Friday, unless something happens regarding work, because I do work remotely. So sometimes my schedule may change. I will always, always, always let you know as soon as possible if something comes up and I am not able to meet for that week. I already have all the homework assignments laid out on the syllabus. So again, if you are not available or if I have to miss a class, I will give you as much advance notice as I can. And then from there, you can check out syllabus to see what the homework is that's assigned and prepare for quizzes and all that fun stuff. Because guess what? There will be quizzes because that's how this works. um, but mainly we'll be taking part in live discussions. I'll do a few short readings throughout the semester to kind of give you a real example of the different things that we're going to talk about, including with the syllabus. You should also find the vocabulary sheet over on the website that's already been uploaded. That is very crucial. You will need that throughout the whole 8 weeks. I say that because, spoiler alert, first quiz will cover most of the items that are mentioned on the vocabulary sheet. Quiz is already done. And yeah, you're going to need to know those things. Those are the basics when it comes to authorship, in my opinion. So, things that you need to be aware of, there are acronyms and there are words that have multiple meanings, but in the writer space, they have a very specific meaning. And so, this is how you can end up having two conversations at one time. Because if you ask someone a question in regards to something particular within your writing, depending on how you answer that question, it may lead to a whole entire question outside of that. So be sure to check out the vocabulary sheet that I provided with the syllabus, but please read the syllabus first. It's there to help you prepare for the next 8 weeks. So, having said that, there is some optional reading. Again, you don't have to worry about materials or books or anything like that. All of that will be provided to you through our discussions, and I have links that are up for you. So that way, if anything comes up that I feel would be beneficial to you, such as another YouTuber that you can follow, an editor, or another fellow author, by all means, please check that information out. Excuse me. Oh, hey, is it Freemasonry? Yeah. Okay, Freemasonry rod. Okay. Now, anyway, so having said that, there is some optional reading. If you write within a specific genre, or if you are an aspiring author looking to write within a specific genre, please check out the optional reading. I have listed below different anthologies that may help you as far as your writing craft and how you want to write. First one is romance, because spoiler alert, I do write romance. I am considered a multi-genre author because I do dabble in between genres. I haven't really picked a specific genre yet, and I don't want to. We'll talk more about that in weeks 3 and 4. But on this list are a list of anthologies, as well as a workbook that is meant to help you with your thoughts on writing. So let's talk a little bit about each anthology, starting with Valentine's Day, Cupid's Kiss, a Penny Valley Valentine's Day anthology. I know that's a mouthful. But essentially, what this anthology is all about is Valentine's Day, love, the whole gamut. And there are 5 featured authors, including myself. So that would make six featured authors within that anthology, and they all write specifically romance. Then we have Darkest of Dreams, which is a cryptoid horror anthology. Again, there are over two dozen, and there are two dozen stories in this anthology, and I believe there's over 10 authors within the anthology. It's really cool. So if you are into horror, specifically cryptoids or anything within that genre, you may also want to check out that book. And then we have another romance. This one is with a Christmas theme. So it is The Holiday Bliss, another Penny Valley Christmas anthology. And you will see some of those authors return from Cupid's Kiss. And then we have women's fiction, which is under March for Justice. This was a really fun anthology to get started with. Again, you'll see some repeat authors from the Darkest of Dreams anthology within this read. But again, this one focuses more on societal issues, specifically for women, anyone that may be a part of the LGBTQIA community. A lot of stories there. And then we have Heart of the Season, which is a holiday anthology. And you can find all of these anthologies online. Now, as far as ebook, if you ever see me in person, I always keep product on me. When I say product, I'm talking about books. So in this context, I always keep books on me for this very specific reason. So throughout the next 8 weeks, you'll hear me read excerpts from a few of these stories. I'll also be sharing them on the class website. So I'll share different snippets from each book, and that way we can analyze them and talk about them as a class. So that way you can get a feel for what type of writing style calls out to you, or how you can reach an audience through your pen with a creative way. So the last book on this list again is Thoughts on Writing by M.T. Decker. This book I feel is very paramount, especially for new authors that are still trying to navigate their writing style, their technique, how they envision characters, settings, dialogue, tension. All of those wonderful, delicious words that I mentioned are also on your vocabulary sheet. So if you're not sure what it is that I'm talking about in regards to that, let me know in the comments and we'll talk about them in our next class. Okay. So now that we've gone over the optional reading, I want to talk about expectations for this class. And I did talk about them briefly at the beginning. But to be clear, this is a free 99 class, but I am someone who loves academia. So I do follow a similar format to academia in that way. As far as those of you that are enrolled, yes, you will receive a grade for this class. I know. It's free 99. Why are you grading us? Well, if you're enrolled, I'm assuming that you want the collegiate experience, and I'm going to give it to you because I too am a fan of academia and I don't mind grading things. That's also another reason why this class is only going to be capped at 20 to 25 students. Okay, I can only imagine what it's like for professors out in the real world that have to grade hundreds of papers. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. So, having said that, yes, I do follow the A, B, C, D format. So, I will be grading you on things that you submit to me, things that you do in class as far as participation, taking the quiz, and our final week assignment. You will be receiving a grade on that. So, please check out the syllabus to see how that is all broken down, because I'm not going to go over that on the live because not everyone attending the live will be enrolled, and that's okay. So, okay. Also, if you are enrolled and you can't make a class, that is another reason why I created the YouTube playlist. So that way you can still get participation points by watching the overview, or not overview, but like the brief overview of each week. Please be sure to subscribe and then comment, letting me know that you watched the video and share your thoughts on what was said in the video from the previous class. And that way you can still get your participation points. If not, that's fine. And from there, we have sharing stories. Again, this is a storytelling class. At some point, you are going to share your thoughts, your opinions on the stories that you like, on the stories that maybe didn't resonate with you. You will be expected to explain why. I don't want you to come to class and just say, "Oh, hated it." That's not going to work here. So be prepared to talk fully and openly and to engage with us with the dialogue. So speak your mind. Do so diplomatically. Respect those around you. Respect those in the comments. I personally am under the notion of don't come for me unless I send for you. So if do not come in here and provoke people into arguments and things of that nature. The block hand is strong. I will just simply block you and move on. It's not necessary. The world outside is on fire. Don't bring your rage into the comments. Don't bring them into the lives. I have absolutely zero patience for it. So be kind, be respectful. And there are lessons that we will talk about. Actually, I believe it's week 4, week 6, and week 7. We'll talk about giving and receiving feedback and critique. And this is the class where you want to practice that, because we are talking about storytelling. This is something that many of us still are very passionate about. And I love that. I want that energy. But at the same time, I need you to wield your voice properly. Your voice is a weapon, it is a spark for change. And until you can really effectively learn how to use it and balance the power that you have with your words, you will be stuck where you are. That's my own personal motto. Do with it what you will. So in this class, that is something that you will be able to practice doing. And again, we're talking about craft. We're talking about how you write, why you write. What is it that you want to write? What stories do you want to tell? What stories resonate, inspire? What stories piss you off? We're going to talk about those things over the next 7 weeks. And I want to make sure everyone is heard. And I want to make sure that your opinions are respected. And I want you to walk away feeling confident, not only within your storytelling, but within your craft and how you speak to people. That is very paramount in this class. So keep that in mind when you engage over the next couple of weeks. And having said that, inclusivity. This class is for everyone. Okay, it is for everyone. However, I want you to take a look at the person on the screen because I am a person. So please keep that in mind when you have the floor to speak. Please keep that in mind when you sound off in the comments. And please keep that in mind when you are engaging with others in this class. Everyone here has a voice. Everyone here has a say. And I want you to keep that in mind when you are out here typing away or in the chats, what have you, when you share your stories, because spoiler alert, you will be sharing a bit of your written work in this next 7 weeks. So keep that in mind. And also, if you anticipate needing any type of accommodations in order to participate in this class, let me know, preferably as soon as possible. So that way I can make any necessary accommodations for you and it won't be a problem. So moving on. Okay. Again, we talked about the schedule, but we haven't talked about what we're going to talk about for the next 7 weeks. So, like I said, we're going to be exploring different writing forms. And we're going to be looking at them through the lens of an author. Again, whether you're inspiring a new author, a veteran author who's just here to kind of refresh and maybe find that spark, or a creator who is looking for another medium to share their work. Okay, either one of those is completely valid. It's totally fine. Oh, hey, Marlene. And so let's go ahead and talk about what we will be discussing over the next 7 weeks. So this class is marked as 101, which I am assuming that means that you are still kind of navigating the waters of being an author, penning your stories, things of the like. So having said that, I have chosen 8. There are 8 key principles to writing and 8 principles of storytelling. And those are the things that we're going to cover over the next 8 weeks. So the first one is purpose. Okay. We're going to talk about behind this element, such as expressions, information, persuasion, and how you plan to apply that in your storytelling. Okay. That's week 1. And if you visit the YouTube playlist right now, you'll find your homework in regards to purpose. Okay. So week 2. Week 2, we will be talking about coherence. So making sure that you can connect different points of your story. It's one thing to have an idea, y'all. Everyone having an idea is a prerequisite. Everyone can do that. Everyone can come up with an idea, a twist, a take, what have you. We are going to dive into that in week 2 and figure out which methods may work best for you when it comes to your storytelling, because your story has to make sense. If it don't make sense to you, it's not going to make sense to your readers. It's not going to make sense to whoever else you share it with. And that can become a problem. So week 2, coherence. Week 1, purpose. Okay, week 3. Week 3 is clarity. And I know what you're thinking, but isn't coherence the same as clarity? No, 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 no. They are used interchangeably, but they are separate. And that is why we have one after the other. Okay, so clarity, that is when you're looking at the story with the whole new lens as a writer, and we're going to break down ways to make sure that your story makes sense. You can connect the parts of your story, but if those parts that you connect don't make sense, do you have a story? Find out more in week 3. Okay, so we talked about weeks 1, 2, 3. Let's get into week 4. Week 4 is organization. Okay, we talked about coherence, we talked about clarity. We're going to make sure that you have a method or organization that works for you. This is something that lots of people struggle with, myself included, admittedly. But I've been at it for a while now, and I seem to have a organization that works for me. And hopefully by the end of week 4, you have something that works for you. And we'll talk about how to revisit your organization skills over time to continue to get better at that. Okay, so we've talked about weeks 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go ahead and get into week 5. So week 5 is all about why you are here. You want to be creative, right? Creativity is where it's at. And some people are blessed with this naturally, and some of us have to work at it. So we'll be discussing that in a little bit more during week 5. Now, by the time you got into week 5, you'll start to feel a little pep in your step. You've had a quiz or two by this point. Spoiler alert. And so talking about creativity should be fun. That is one thing that I want you to take away from week 5, is that this should be fun. Okay? From there, we have week 6. Week 6, revisions. And by this point, if you're wondering why my tone has changed when I talked about revisions, I need you to look at your vocabulary sheet, because a lot of people, myself included, when I first started, I did not take revisions very seriously, but now I love them. Okay, it's low key one of my top favorite things about being a writer at this point. Revisions make you better as a writer, and I'm going to explain to you in very, very, very detail and in very much so detail as to why revisions help you improve as a writer. You need them even at a creative outlet. So we're going to discuss that. Okay, and week 6, revisions. Week 7, now we're getting into it. Week 7 is critiques. And honestly, you will be talking about feedback starting next week. But we're really going to get to dive deep into it. Week 7 is critiques, because by this point, you and I know each other. We're in a place of mutual respect and appreciation of each other's craft. So we're going to go there. We're going to talk about critiques. We're going to talk about giving and receiving feedback and what you can do with that, because it is something that you have to do. You have to be willing to do some things when it comes to critique, and we're going to talk about that. So get ready for that. And then finally, week 8. Week 8 is the end of everything. But yes, you will still have an assignment, and it's going to be a very simple assignment: reflection. So for week 8, our final week, at this point, you've completed all the quizzes. Hint, hint. You've watched the videos, you've attended the lives, and now you get to go back and revisit everything that we talked about. And yes, you will have to write about that. I mean, at this point, you will probably have done a serious amount of writing in this course. So reflection is meant to be fun. Not only is it meant to be fun, but it's supposed to help you along the way to really kind of look back at everything that we talked about and how you are going to move forward. Okay? So don't look at it so much as, oh my gosh, she got us doing quizzes and homeworks, and I didn't want to do all that. if that's where your head's at, that's totally fine. You can audit the course. You can come in and make comments on the lives and join me for the YouTube playlist where you get a brief rundown of everything. That's totally fine. Again, if you're more of an academic learner and you would like a certificate at the end, then go ahead and enroll in the class. I believe someone mentioned earlier that they tried to enroll and there was an issue. So I have been looking at the website to see if I can fix that. Hopefully, I'm able to fix it so that you guys can enroll later today. If not, I'll go ahead and I'll make a post letting you know when to expect that to be fixed. If not, I'll have to get in touch with HTU to see if there's something that they can do on their end to make it so that you can enroll. Okay, so since that is all that I have for tonight, I'll go ahead and remind you to check out the YouTube playlist because that is where you'll find your first homework assignment. So for those of you who are simply auditing and you just want some words of wisdom, have fun, be creative, write the weird thing. I mean, if you haven't turned on the news yet, then you don't know the impossible is possible. We've just had a movie reach 3 million that people really thought was going to flop, which is baffling to me. But I don't want to get too bent out of shape about that. But I'm just saying, don't try to follow the beat of someone else's drum. Find your rhythm, find your groove, and see that through. Okay, and then if it doesn't work, take a step back, see what you did, see how you want to change that, and move forward. Now, if you want some homework, here's your homework. What's your story? I want you to write that. What's your story? And I'm leaving it open to interpretation because everyone's story should be different. And that is it for today. That is our very first live. So excited. Okay. Now that I know what I'm doing with YouTube and the clock app. And if you guys don't mind seeing me here, because I'm actually sitting online. I wasn't sure if I should bring it down. I think that's probably better. But yeah, okay. I'll have to get another stand to figure that out. But yeah, so thank you all so much for joining me tonight. This has been fun, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys again on Friday. So, oh, that's right, Friday again is office hours. So if you want to talk to me for that hour, again, it's 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Fridays, same time as Wednesdays, because Wednesdays is when we meet for the live. So yeah, if you want to hang out with me, talk about the homework assignment, talk about the vocabulary sheet, as well as the syllabus on Friday, again, I will be back live. Probably not on YouTube because it's just an office hour, so I'm not gonna do YouTube live. YouTube live will just be specifically for our classes on Wednesday. So to reiterate, this is our first class. Check out the YouTube channel if you haven't already for more about the homework. If you are able to enroll, please do so that way you can check out the syllabus as well as the vocabulary sheet, so that way you can start studying and reviewing the notes for that. And again, I will see you all on Friday, 6 p.m. That is Eastern time. Okay? So thank you guys so much for joining me today and have a good one. As always, continue reading, continue writing, continue loving the process. This is Kay McCoy, and I am signing off. Bye. All right, everyone. That's it. Yeah. All right. Bye, YouTube.